In this war of nuclear bombs, raids, and betrayal on an Earth map in Minecraft, I try to conquer it all. But will one solo player be enough to win? Our story starts rowing to the shore of Spain. Since we are alone with no teammates or allies, dying is a very real possibility. So we set up a secret underground stash of backup gear in Spain. Then we went for battle. The nearest country, the Polish, had just created a nuclear bomb, and this meant they would be an easy target, and if we could pull this off, we would be a one-man nuclear power. We used satellite intelligence to pinpoint where they were hiding, and where the nuclear bomb probably was. Finally, I picked a remote operator by the name of Crumbles to feed me live satellite intelligence while I attacked, so I could know where they were at all times during the battle. With that, I snuck up on the base. We spotted that I had been detected on the satellite, and one of the guards was heading towards me to check it out. After waiting a while, he passed on, so I used the opportunity to attack two of them whose name tags I could see in the main target building. Using stealth to strike their respawn point, I then attacked. Missing a bunch of shots, I circled around to get into cover. After waiting, I realized I still had time for another attack because they weren't ready, so I rushed over and breached the back wall. But then an invisible part of the machine blocked my shots, so I rushed back into the woods. Despite dodging bullets, I reached far enough back to set an ambush. With the satellite operator informing me that no enemies were close yet, I took the time to loot what I could carry from the enemy. With one enemy down, we still had a nuke to secure. And with the satellite intelligence, we knew that one was still inside the main building, so we struck before the next guard could arrive. Reaching another wall and taking the main target building, we didn't have time to search for the nuke, as the third enemy was still in the area and satellite information was showing him heading back towards us now. I got into a defensive position to hold the building from the enemy attack. After a while, the guard, instead of choosing to attack, chose to retreat so he could survive another day. I then searched the base, collecting as much gear from the enemy as I could, including the nuke, before escaping back into the woods. Now during this raid, we realized that the Polish were in an alliance with the United States. So we had just attacked one of the allies of one of the biggest countries on the server. I didn't care too much at the time, since that also meant that they were one of the biggest raid opportunities at the time, so we could get rich quick. I then started setting up a bunker with a shell building on top. Also, to combat satellite information being used to bomb our base, I built a nuke catcher so that if one did hit what looked like our roof on the satellite, it would actually explode hundreds of blocks above the bunker, which wouldn't stop one, but would slow it down. Then I got a message from the same Chinese operator who had given us the satellite intel from the Polish raid. He was going to nuke America, and he wanted me to claim responsibility. This would mean that enemies would fear me even more, making attacks easier, so since I was already at war with America, I pretended I was responsible. He also offered to buy a few 50 caliber snipers in return, as he was in need of some weapons. Then I began fortifying, as I suspected a nuclear attack would be on the way. After waiting a while, we got hit. Realizing a mistake I had made in the fortifications, the radiation entered the bunker, doing a lot of damage. Then I got a call from China offering to help clean up the nuke. I was already suspicious because they had done the exact same thing to the USA by offering to help them after the nuke we knew they had launched. And in addition to that, they asked how many 50 caliber rifles were in the wreckage, the same ones they had just asked about buying. Either way, after this totally not suspicious event, we broke our respawn point so that we would spawn back at the world spawn. But we didn't know if the USA was responsible. We knew they would make for a lot of loot, so we headed to our nearby stash in Spain. But while approaching the USA, they spotted me, and due to the fear that their base might be damaged, they all logged off, meaning I could no longer raid their base as per server rules. Considering this could be some sort of real-life commitment affecting all of its members, I waited a few hundred blocks away as to give them ample time to prepare if they did log on. Then they logged on, but when they saw I came back, they logged back off again before I could reach them. So I moved closer each time they continued to do this. Eventually, they even admitted that they were abusing the offline protection rules, so we still had to wait a very long time until one member eventually logged on heading to China. As we could now raid them, we did. However, because of their current shenanigans, there were no defenders, so we yoinked the crates and headed up to stash them in Canada. But while traveling, I got some images from the United States member who had finally logged on for longer than 5 seconds. You see, he had been traveling to China, where he infiltrated the Chinese base and acquired a missile target designator, aimed for my base. Now, this didn't prove China had nuked me. Anyone can make a target designator and put it in China. But it lined up with most of the other evidence, and I seriously doubt the guy with just 2 saplings in his inventory would have a spare missile target designator sitting around. So with yet another opportunity for free coins in front of us, we came up with a breaching plan. We pretended that someone stole from their base, and we ambushed them and got the stolen goods back. And we were now on our way back to China to return these definitely real stolen goods. And then we would launch a counterattack on the United States. But instead, what we were actually going to do is to locate the Chinese spawn, break it, and take the base. All the events in the series had led up to this point. Would we fulfill our promise of making any attackers pay a high price? Or would we fail the coming 3v1 gunfight and be reset back to nothing?
Where are you right now?
I am almost at the base to get you the stuff, but I'm being shot by mobs. It may take me a while.
To come up the hatch.
The hatch?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's like a massive ladder going underground.
Okay. Try and find it while I'm getting shot at by mobs.
Yeah, you can keep the drill obviously, and if you really need any other stuff that he took, you can also keep it.
Right, I'll sort that out once I get down here.
Yes.
All right. Using the hostile surface mobs as an excuse to get below the ground, I located their spawn point. If there's anything I need specifically. Alright, wait, there is, here, let me put them, wait, hold on, let me get the crate out.
This is quite expected.
Yeah, you know, I checked those nuke cords on the detonator, Crumbles.
What detonator?
The one aimed at my base. Considering you're the guy who aimed it, I figured you would know.
Oh no. Did you find it?
Yeah, I may have been sent a picture by a spy 1 or 2 times. Shortly after ambushing their leader, I spotted a second soldier attempting to melee me.
They found it.
Even though I only took out 2 enemies, the third guy logged off in fear. Starting to notice a pattern here? Our suspicions of their nuclear launch were further confirmed when we located the target designator aiming at my base in their leader's inventory. So, with all the guards back at the world spawn in Africa, or too terrified to log on, we looted the base. We also took down their nuclear production machines and then headed up the ladder, where we grabbed some potatoes and a nuclear launch pad. Then we made our escape into the sunset. We had made enemies with all the world's superpowers and successfully took out the vast majority of their supplies. It would be a long time before they recovered. Later that day, in the mountains of Russia, I stashed all the nuclear supplies in a cave and forgot to write down the cords. And so I started an international treasure hunt for nuclear supplies that may or may not exist. Also, did you know the owner who made this video possible is actually the same corrupt admin who banned me in my last video? Well, what changed is in this cap chat field video right here. Anyways, I'll see you later.